For the eyes of the world now look into space, to the moon, and to the planets beyond. But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. To go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills.
Hello, Kerbal Space Program fans. My name is Matthew Fogel. Thank you for joining me in this video, and sorry to interrupt that little intro cinematic that you were just watching. That is kind of how I'm going to be doing these videos. These are my first, this specifically is my first Kerbal Space Program video. I have not actually done a YouTube video for the sake of a YouTube video in a long time, actually, maybe 1 or 2 years. I have to check. Not really sure. I found this game just a little while ago, been playing it for a few weeks. Not gonna say I'm great, not gonna say I'm horrible. Kind of a mix in between the two. And this craft you are seeing right before you is what I've called the Voyager Mun. Some people prefer to call it the Moon. I read it Mun, that's what I'm going to call it. And the name pretty much tells you what it is. It is a rocket that I have built specifically to get from here, Kerbal, to here. The Mun. Moon. I may start calling it Moon. Mun sounds kind of odd. Regardless. Not anything too fancy. The way, the general idea behind it is this gets us up to about 10,000 meters. We tip it over and use this stage right here to get us really going. Kick that off. This stage right here puts us into our final orbit, and then we have a nice nuclear engine right here, nuclear rocket, with lots and lots of delta V to get us on the moon. And I know sometimes people will make their moon landers a separate rocket to get you there and then a lander to land on it. I kind of wanted to make it all one craft, so it's a somewhat crude method, but it works. While I am in free fall getting ready to land on the moon, I tip this guy over. I take the landing gear and extend it out like this, and then use this rocket right here to slow me down the rest of the way and hopefully land safely. Then, when I'm done, use this to take off. Once it's out of fuel, ditch it, turn the thing back around, use the nuclear rocket to get me into a lunar orbit, and then use the rocket to get me all the way back home. So that is our mission. I've only been able to test this with respect to getting into orbits, and it makes really ugly orbits. I can make a decent orbit, but for some reason I've had a lot of issues with this particular craft making a decent orbit, which is fine because we're not trying to stay in orbit that long. We're really just trying to get there so we can leave to go to the moon. So, I'm going to bring the cinematic back now. That's kind of how the style of these videos is going to do. Really big, important things like liftoff, orbital insertions, things like that. Landings are going to be a little bit more cinematic. And then the actual in-between flights, you'll hear me talking. You know, try and add a little pizzazz with my voice. So, I hope you guys like this. We're going to return to the cinematic in 3, 2, 1. stop talking so much. Awesome! That's actually pretty good orbit. If I would have paid more attention, we probably could have made it quite a bit better. So, now the next thing to do is to add our maneuver node that will get us to the moon. I'm going to do that real quick. It's not really something you guys need to see. So, I will see you guys in a second. Okay, so we have our moon encounter. I need to just pick one. You guys let me know in the comments what you think sounds better, moon or mun, and I will just go with that. We have a periapsis that's going to bring us within about 37,000 kilometers. Pretty good. I can use that to make a pretty nice orbit, I think. And now we're really just waiting. I'm probably going to time accelerate. Our node is right about here. Before I do that, though, before we leave Kerbal, I thought I'd show you guys one of the other craft that I built before I started making this particular video. This is a space station that I have built. It is called Voyager Station. I guess you guys are noticing a theme with my craft. They all begin with Voyager. And the reason behind that is because I've always very highly admired the Voyager spacecraft and all the incredible science and accomplishments they do and have done. I believe the Voyager 2, Voyager 1, one of them, just recently left our solar system, becoming the first man-made craft to do so, which is pretty awesome. So yes, this is Voyager Station. It consists of a science module right here, a living quarters right here, a fuel tank, an emergency fuel tank that I put up here for if I'm ever trying to get somewhere and I don't want to bring all of my fuel with me. I can dock with the space station and transfer fuel out of it, and an emergency return vehicle if I ever botch something up really badly and I have debris flying towards this, which if anyone has seen Gravity, the movie that just came out a few months ago, that could be a very terrifying experience. I wanted to have a way to get them off, so I have that there. And this is actually a remnant of the rocket that put the space station frame into orbit. I built the space station in sections. This metal framing that you see here with all the docking ports, that was the very first piece, and I lifted this entire thing as one piece. And while it wasn't particularly heavy, the aerodynamics of it, it did not want to fly, and it took me a very long time to get this thing into orbit. And this rocket actually still has a tiny bit of liquid fuel left in it, so if I ever need to do something to try and raise the orbit for whatever reason, I can do that. We've got some lights, docking ports, lots and lots of solar panels. Kind of a cool little space station, I think. It was just sort of an experiment to see what I could build. This is the very first thing I actually managed to put in orbit, the first thing I tried. And maybe that wasn't the greatest plan because, oh my gosh, it was difficult. So we are going to switch back to the Voyager moon and zip on over to our maneuver node and put ourselves on a trajectory to go to the moon. Okay, real quick before we do this burn, I'm just going to extend the solar panels I have on this thing. Okay, don't run out of power. Don't want our build Kerman to not have heat or air conditioning. This Voyage 2. And I'm now realizing this may not have been the best placement for solar panels because one of them is blocking the others. Like I said, I have not been playing this game particularly long. You will all learn with me as I learn, as I just also learned. If you have a maneuver node and you switch craft, you lose that maneuver node. And it makes me a little sad. I liked the one we had and had to remake it. Now our periapsis is about 50,000 instead of 30,000 meters. Oh well, we'll still get there. I'm going to zip on down to the maneuver node real quick. I guess I could give you a cinematic. You guys want a cinematic? Do you? Okay, I'll give you a cinematic. Just a second. how does this look? That didn't quite go the way it was supposed to. We're gonna have to do some quick adjustments. I'm gonna have to make a new node, and I will see you guys in a second. Alright, we are lined up for the node. Should be there in about 54 seconds. Nice little glory shot of Kerbal. Spinning around. You can just faintly see the moon, the light from the sun, blocking it out pretty well. We're going to speed up just a little bit to get to the node, a tad bit faster. Don't want to go too much and overshoot it. Bring it back down. I found going into cockpit mode to kind of get your maneuver node locked in, because you can zoom into it a lot better than I can on the outside of the craft. I found that to be very helpful. Node is in 25 seconds. Please work. Please, 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 please. I have not gone to the moon yet. This is my first attempt, so we'll see how it goes. Hope I thought everything out. I'm gonna start it. Get up at full speed by the time we get to load. I'm gonna go out to the map, so I want to watch this happen. Alright, we have our encounter. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the burn. How are we looking? We looking good? Good looking? What do we see? 266, not exactly 25,000. If you guys know what I'm doing wrong, I seem to have a lot of troubles with maneuver nodes. Like, I have a lot of trouble with maneuver nodes. I guess I'll try and bring it in a little more. Oh, I can still bring it down. Come on. There we go. Okay, so maybe I just ended the burn too early. But if you guys notice problems and mistakes I'm making, please, please, please feel free to let me know. I love your criticisms. Really, I would. So, really, we're on a trajectory for the moon. There's not a whole lot else to be said, I think. Where is it? That's Kerbal, so that logic would say there she is. Ooh, don't really want to land on the dark side, so I'm going to try and land on the light side of the moon. I like to see where I'm landing. We are going to zip on over there to when we get closer, and when we do our orbital insertion, I will see you guys there. On Kerbal at this point. Okay, I was looking at that backwards. Go me. Okay, so next step would be to get an actual orbit. I guess I could. It'd be kind of a waste of fuel. I could probably just slow down. I want to do an orbit. I haven't been here before. I want to orbit the moon, get some glory shots. Alright. Our node is set up, and I just thought this was kind of a really cool shot right here. The sun, the light from the sun is more or less blocking out Kerbal's moon, and it looks really cool. I have to say, for being in beta, the visuals of Kerbal Space Program are pretty nice. They're very majestic, if I may say so myself. So, Technically our node is in about an hour and a half, and I'm not going to make you guys sit through that, so obviously I'm going to zip on over to the node, and I will see you guys in just a second. Alright, we are about a minute now from our node. Our orbit's actually going to be a pretty, it's not going to be a perfect orbit. I have not yet mastered perfect orbits. We're going to be about 14,000 by 35,000 meters apsis to apoapsis to periapsis. So it'll be nice because it'll bring us really low on one side and a little higher on the other. We can use the low side to try and land. This is cool. This is cool. Oh man. I saw a really cool chart the other day. It was Kerbal versus Earth versus our moon versus the moon in Kerbal Space Program with their respective sizes. And everything is considerably sized down within this game, which I thought was interesting. But even here, when you're right above it, the scaling doesn't even show. It does not show at all. This looks like a full-sized planet to me. Haven't been to space yet, haven't been to the moon yet, hoping to be there someday. Fun fact, the gravity on the moon is so low, so much less than Earth's, that if you put on wings like Icarus did in that old Greek tale, it could actually be possible that you could flap them in such a way that you could fly like a bird on the moon, if you were in a dome filled with air. In order for there to be lift with wings, you have to have air. That's kind of the way lift works, but fun fact for you all. I'm a bit of a nerd. Alright, 14 seconds. Almost there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Gonna start us off. 0. Do its thing. Bring in this orbit. Alright, we have an orbit at the least, so if anything goes horribly wrong, won't be the end of the world. Excuse me. I had to cough there. Just quick adjustment. Bringing it in. 600,000. 500,000. 30 seconds left. Keep it going. Come on. Come on. Plenty of fuel. Do adjustments if we have to, but I'd like to avoid it. You come in. Here we go. Just get this last little bit. 15,000 by 30,000. Not quite where I was going to put it, but it puts me actually a little lower, so I'm not going to complain. Get rid of this node. And look at that. We are in orbit around the moon. This is so cool. This is so cool. Awesome. Alright, I'm going to take just a quick break, and I'm going to decide where we're going to land, and maybe look up how to land on the moon. Just make sure there's nothing. I already read up on it a little bit. Obviously, there's no atmosphere, so parachutes aren't going to work. I'm going to basically try, while I'm over here on the dark side of the moon, I'm going to make a node to begin slowing down. Maybe that would not be a good idea. While I'm on the light side, I'm going to make a node to try and make it as if I'm going to crash into the moon on the dark side, and as I slow down, hopefully, wherever this blue orbital line starts, it'll just creep its way back over here. That's kind of how I think it'll work. So I'm going to try. I'm sure there's probably a much more mathematical and better way to do it, but I don't know it yet. I'm going to learn. And so I will see you guys all in a second when I make that particular node. That was a bit too much. Too much. No! I let it fall too far. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Come on. Come on. No. Please, 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 please. Come on. No. Save it. Save it. I think that was about 8 tries. Oh, good lord. Well, Bill Kerman has successfully landed on the moon, and I am going to just deactivate this engine, so there's no chance of me screwing this up. Okay. We have landed. Glory shot of heaven. There he is. Let go. Fall. Walk down this little landing leg, and we are on the moon. Bill Kerman, would you like to do the honors? Plant your flag, my friend. Plant your flag. That is beautiful site name. First Here stands the flag of the Kerbal Space Program's first landing on the moon. Total only took 1 try. Absolutely. I mean, all those crashes, those weren't mine. I don't know where how those got on the video at all. Mystery. Total mystery. All right, I'm gonna walk around. Not really sure. There's not a whole lot to do because I didn't bring a rover. Didn't really know how to build one yet.